Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. Are all jobs equally valuable? That's a trope that comes from socialists very often. That doctors are valuable, but also trash men are valuable. If we didn't have trash men, then there would be stinking trash in the streets and disease would run amok. So let's talk about this a little bit. There's the first view. All jobs are equally valuable because they're all necessary for society to run. A competing view, also from the left, is that the lowly jobs are for stupid people or unmotivated people, and if you want to make something of yourself in life, you get an education and you move up and you stay away from lowly jobs like trash collector. Now, the first view, that all jobs are equal, can be refuted thusly. Let us imagine a virus, just for the sake of argument, let us imagine a virus that comes along tomorrow and kills off every trash collector in the United States. What would we do? Well, people would come from other occupations and they would work as trash collectors. They would come from retail, they would come from, gas station attendant, mechanics, or maybe mechanics are too highly paid to come down to trash collecting, bricklayers and painters. People would come from these other jobs into the trash collecting job, and you would just train them. It takes an hour to train somebody to do the trash. Now let us imagine a virus that tomorrow kills off every single doctor in the United States, or for better argument, in the whole world. What would we do? Well, we couldn't just take lawyers and trash collectors and college professors and move them over into doctors' offices, could we? And retrain them in the matter of an hour. We couldn't do that, could we? It takes 8 years to train a doctor, maybe more. So clearly, we would be in a lot more trouble if all of the doctors died tomorrow than if all the trash collectors died tomorrow. Clearly then, doctors are more valuable to society because they are not easily replaced. It comes at a great, great cost to replace them. So that's refuted. That's a nonsense view that all jobs are equal. But we have a pretty tough problem today. The left has taken over the educational institutions, and in order to get a quote-unquote education, you have to jump through a million leftist hoops. You have to pay lip service to the left. You have to pretend that you agree with their talking points. You have to write essays in support of their deranged views in order to get an education. And the result of valuing education so highly, because it's the ticket up out of humdrum, terrible work, the result of that is that people will go to get an education, try to get an education, make it their goal to become educated, without really caring about whether or not the education is actually valuable. And after doing this for 30 or 40 years or 50 in our society, we've reached a really sticky place where people are quote-unquote educated because they've jumped through all the hoops that the left demands they jump through, yet they have less skills than a plumber, an electrician, a mechanic, a painter, a garbage collector. Their skills are not marketable. Nobody's willing to pay them to do anything with their Hispanic studies degree, or gay studies, or women's studies, or black studies. No one's willing to pay them anything for it. And yet, they're highly educated. They're clearly better than electricians, plumbers, mechanics, trash collectors, because they're educated. And that's the point where we are today. People who are following the old paradigm of use education to improve your life have bought an education which is useless because they've been sold a bill of goods, not the goods themselves. And the people who are willing to learn an actual skill or trade that is actually valuable to society, that society actually wants performed, they are doing much better than a lot of these people who have gone to college and university and supposedly become educated, but in fact are simply being indoctrinated by the left. Well, I guess the main substance of this video is to prove that not all jobs are equally important. Doctors are more difficult to retrain than garbage men. But if the doctors don't know medicine, if all they know is white men who are straight are bad, and colored people and gay people are good, and touch therapy or non-touch therapy and acupuncture are the cutting edge, then we're in a situation where we don't even have doctors anymore. And we're getting dangerously close to that. Nothing but indoctrinated, brainwashed zombies are coming out of the educational institutions. And we're getting pretty close to a situation where we're going to have the ruling class of society, the best and wealthiest people in society, are going to be like plumbers and electricians and carpenters, because people demand their work. And the extremely costly educated crowd have zero to offer and are useless and can't earn anything. That's the situation we're approaching. Well, there we have it. There's my objective view of the relative value of jobs. Mundane jobs are more valuable to people, to society, than brainwashed leftist libtards. Patronize me.